Hi viewers, welcome to the new section of this course, Sharing and Converting Jupyter Notebooks. Once you have developed your notebook, you will want to share it with others. There is a typical mechanism available for sharing that which we will cover in this section, placing your notebook on an accessible server on the internet. When you provide a notebook to another person, they may need the notebook in a different format given their system requirements. We will also cover some mechanisms available for providing your notebook to others in a different format as well. The section will demonstrate the following topics: sharing notebooks on a notebook server, sharing notebooks on a web server and Docker, sharing notebooks on a public server, converting notebooks. Let's move on to the first video of this section, sharing notebooks on a notebook server. In this video, we will learn how to share notebooks. Sharing notebooks. The typical mechanism for sharing notebooks is to provide your notebook on a website. A website runs on a server or on allocated machine space. The server takes care of all the bookkeeping involved in running a website, such as keeping track of multiple users and logging people on and off. In order for the notebook to be of use though, the website must have notebook logic installed. A typical website knows how to deliver content as HTML given some source files. The most basic form is pure HTML, where every page you access on the website corresponds exactly to one HTML file on the web server. Other languages could be used to develop the website, such as Java or PHP, so then the server needs to know how to access the HTML it needs from those source files. In our context, the server needs to know how to access your notebook in order to deliver HTML to users. Even when notebooks are just running on your local machine, they are running in a browser that is accessing your local machine server instead of the internet, so the web, HTML and internet access have already been provided. If a notebook is on true website, it is available to everyone who can access that website, whether the server is running on your machine, in an office environment accessible over the local area network, or if your website is available to all users over the internet. You can always add security around the website so that only the people who can use your notebook are given access by you. Security mechanisms depend on the type of web server software involved. Built into the Jupyter process is the ability to expose the notebook as its own web server. Assuming the server is a machine accessible by other users, you can configure Jupyter to run on that server. You must provide the configuration information to Jupyter so it knows how to proceed. The command to generate a configuration file for your Jupyter installation is. This command will generate a Jupyter Notebook configuration.py file on your .jupyter directory. For Microsoft users, that directory is a subdirectory of your home user directory. The configuration file contains the setting that you can use to expose your notebook as a server. The settings in the file are explained here. This is the path to the location of the certificate for your site. If you have an SSL certificate, you will need to change the setting to the location of the file. It may not be a PEM extension file. There are several SSL certificate formats. This is the IP address of the machine. Use the wildcard * to open to all. Here we are specifying the IP address of the machine where the notebook website is accessed. True/false. Does starting the notebook server open a browser window? Hashed password. The password will have to be provided by users accessing your notebook in response to a standard login challenge. Port to access your server. It should be open to the machine. This is the path to the location of the key to access the cert for your site. Rather than specify the key to your certificate, you would have stored the key in a file. So if you want to apply an SSL certificate to your notebook, you need to specify the file location. The key is normally a very large hexadecimal number, so it is stored in its own file. Also, storing in a file offers additional protection as the directory where keys are stored on a machine usually has limited access. Encrypted sharing notebooks on a notebook server. Two of the preceding settings can be used if you have an SSL certificate to apply. Without the SSL certificate, the password refers to the previous section and all other interactions will be transmitted from the user's browser to the server in the clear. If you are dealing with sensitive information in your notebook, you should obtain an SSL certificate and make the appropriate settings changes for your server. If you need more security for access to your notebook, the next step would be to provide an SSL certificate placed on your machine and the path provided in the configuration file. There are a number of companies that provide SSL certificates. The cheapest at the time of writing is Let's Encrypt, which will provide a low-level SSL certificate for free. Again, once you have set the preceding settings with regard to your certificate, you should be able to access your notebook server using the HTTPS prefix, knowing that all the transmissions between the user's browser and the notebook server are encrypted and therefore secure. You may need to add your certificate to the keychain on the host machine before browser authentication will work. Excellent! We have successfully learned about sharing notebooks on a notebook server.